Hello once again, guys. It is February 17th, 2018, 3:31 p.m. Alright, we are still following Cyclone Gita, and we are now following Cyclone Kelvin, which has been named officially. This is a cyclone. We are talking about a big rainmaker here for certain areas of Australia. Now, I'm going to get into this in more detail, but we have a blue alert from Cape Leveque, I believe, Leveque, and that goes to De Grey. That's also including a Broome and Bidydanga. I hope I said that right. I probably didn't. Bidydanga. Okay, so as of right now with Kelvin, it has already dumped over 12 inches of rain in Broome. So that is, think about that for a second, 12 inches of rain. And the reason for this is because this thing is sitting over 83-degree water right now and just fueling itself up and continuously dumping it right on the coast as it's about to head south, cutting through, as you see here in the spaghetti plots. This is the path it is expected to take. Now, I'm going to show you on Ventu Sky and Tropical Tidbits that this thing keeps its shape almost all the way through and out the other end and may reform underneath Australia. That's how crazy this storm is. I've almost never seen anything like it. You will see with your own eyes. This thing stays a cyclone, a very tight formation. It kind of breaks up right around here, but if it can make it to the other side, guys, this thing has the potential to reform down in this area. So with that said, this is actually Gita here. This is February 20th at 1 a.m. So let's finish up with Kelvin first. Let's not get lost here. Now this is Kelvin. I have you on Tropical Tidbits. This is the current area of where it is now, and just to give you an idea, follow how this storm stays in its potential shape as it makes its way all the way through the western part of Australia. And look at the pressure, 989, still a very tight low pressure storm. And the reason for this is because of the amount of rain it is currently soaking up right here as we speak. Let's get to current time, which would be right here is where they finally named it. Right here is where it actually took the official name of Kelvin. It's a cyclone. We're talking 70-mile-an-hour winds are now beginning to hit the coast right here along Broome and Bidydanga, I believe it is. I'm going to work on my Australian areas as well. But guys, this is one of those storms that you can compare to Hurricane Harvey. This is exactly what Harvey did, just in the reverse. Harvey was going up. It was a counterclockwise storm. This is a clockwise storm because we are in the southern hemisphere. Now, this storm is just because the water is so warm, it is continuously, one half of it is in the warm water, the other half is ravishing the coast right now, so it is continuing to fuel as it's about to make its cut across the land. And that is why I believe this thing has the potential to go all the way through and out the other end, dumping moisture along the entire path. Now, we mentioned in other videos that this thing had the potential to dump 644 millimeters of rain, which is an insane amount. Now, here is an article. This article is about 12 to 15 hours old, but you can see here Cyclone 10S is formed just off the coast of northwestern Australia, February 16th. That was yesterday. Still named Tropical Low 1, but they're expecting to name it Kelvin, which they have done, so they were correct in that. And it is expected to reach hurricane strength before making landfall, which it also did. Now, a blue alert has been issued for people between Cape Leveque and De Grey, like I said before. And the issue here, once again, is what they're saying, the same thing I just told you, is the amount of rain and moisture this thing is soaking up and bringing that is going to take it all the way down through Australia. So obviously people in Australia in this area are very well aware of what this thing is doing. They are in the middle of it right now. Anything south from here, it could make little curves in and out, but every area basically from the north end of Western Australia to the south end of Western Australia, basically close to it's Midwest, if you want to call it that. You guys saw where it was. Those of you that live in Australia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But just look at the field here. They have this big circle here is all the areas it could affect. I'll go ahead and try here, but we got Marble Bar, we have Telfer, we have Nullagine. All these areas and everything in between need to be very, very prepared for this, especially for flooding conditions. Anything under sea level, especially will more than likely flood out because of this storm, because of the amount of moisture it's going to hold. So I'm going to follow this closely, as I always do with these significant storms. You can see here it kind of does a bend to slightly to the east. We are dealing with Cyclone Kelvin. There's no doubt about it. This thing is a cyclone. So I will update you. I will keep everyone up to date on that in Australia. Again, this is 10S Kelvin now. Tropical cyclone. It has been upgraded, and it might even get stronger before it's fully over land. So there you have it, guys. That is a significant storm, and our other significant storm that we have going on, obviously, that we've been following for days now, is Gita. Now, Gita is making its curve. You can see its current area is right here. It has passed New Caledonia and that island, and we are at 974 as far as our pressure goes. It's going to make that hook like these storms usually do. And again, whether this thing wants to pass right through New Zealand or if it wants to bounce off almost it looks and curl around here, we are still looking at 75 to 85 mile per hour winds at coast. Now, one of my commenters and a longtime sub weather person made a good point here. This has the potential to be the most southern traveling cyclone ever. Usually by the time these cyclones that are up in this area in the South Pacific get down in here, they're no longer cyclones. They're just big tropical storms, if you want to compare to the Atlantic season. And they will widen out like we talk about when they hit the cooler water, and just that wind field expands and it covers more of the coast. So, but this thing is still a cyclone as we speak right now, and it has the potential to be a cyclone at impact or if it starts grazing the coast and moving out. Now let's move on to the movements here. This again is on the 20th, and you can see with your own eyes where we still have those 70-mile-an-hour winds. We are 10 meters off the ground. And this still has the potential to strengthen, which is very interesting to me because it's moving into cooler waters. So usually that's not the case, but there are atmospheric conditions that can cause these things to stay strong or get stronger. There's no shear wind in sight to cut this thing down before it makes it to New Zealand. At this point, I'm pretty sure both islands of New Zealand are prepared or are preparing, or I hope you are preparing for this, because this could be a cyclone at landfall, guys. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, I'm not here to predict anything, but I'm just going off the data I have to show you. And this thing has been a long traveler. We watched what it did to Tonga and then South Fiji and then New Caledonia, and now still cyclone coming right down to New Zealand. Now let's check it out on Tropical Tidbits. I hate when that happens, but we'll try not to do it again. So here we are. This is currently where it is, and you can also follow this and see how tight it stays as it's making its loop. It begins to widen out a little here, but you see those deep purples. That is very severe, dense moisture. And then there we go. February 20th is now this date. Now that may shift to the 19th based on the time difference here. I'm going by local time for me, which is Eastern Standard Time. So you do the calculations and you figure out when this thing's going to hit. By the time we get to the 19th, I'm sure everyone in New Zealand will know about this and be prepared. If they are not, then I don't know what to tell you guys. This is a severe storm. Whether it will be a cyclone at impact or not, this thing has the potential to do damage, flooding. Anything that's not tied down will be blown away. 70-mile-an-hour winds are no joke. And if it reaches 80, that's even more of an issue. So, again, guys, this is Cyclone Gita. This is Tropical Cyclone Kelvin. Again, check that out. That thing is just moving right through it. It looks to break up right there, and that's probably what's going to happen. But if we move through it, yeah, it looks like it could has the potential to reform. You can see the low pressure shows up again at the end of this, so that's pretty interesting. You never know with these storms, guys. And now that the fact that we have a storm on the other side of Australia moving towards New Zealand in the South Pacific, Then you have the potential for cyclones to become even lower down here if the water is favorable, which is 80 degrees. Typhoons, cyclones, and hurricanes, they need that 80-degree weather to be sustained. Anything below that is when they begin to weaken and expand. The wind fields expand. We've talked about that many times, but this is the situation we're dealing with. So on both sides of Australia right now, in this view, you can get them both in one shot, which is pretty cool. I should have used that for the thumbnail. Oh man, look at that. So we got Gita on one side, we got Kelvin on the other, the Indian Ocean and the South Pacific Ocean, both producing cyclones, both very busy seasons. We got the Gulf warming up in the Atlantic sooner than it has been in a long time. We have 80-degree water bleeding into the Gulf from the Caribbean. So guys, it's that time of year. We're dealing with winter storms, and then we're dealing with 60-degree temperatures the day after in the northeast of the U.S. So weather is weather. This is why I love this stuff. I don't love when people are in danger, obviously, but it's just you just never know what's going to happen with this stuff. And the last couple of years have just been unbelievable with some of the stuff we've been seeing around the globe. And that's why I've been changing over to global weather forecasting, because it's not just about the U.S. There are other parts of the world that are experiencing these just storms that we have not seen in so long or even ever. My commenter below, weather person, mentioned that this could be the most southern cyclone ever recorded, which is a record breaker, and all we did last year was break records. So if this is the trend that we're on, it's going to be a very busy season, and it could just be very busy weather for a long time to come. Who knows? Maybe going through some sort of earth changes. I know we're in a solar minimum apparently. I'm a firm believer that the sun has a lot to do with the weather on Earth. There's some people that don't believe that, but you know what? It's been proven many times that when action goes on the sun, it directly affects Earth. Even NASA talks about those sunspots and the gamma rays and all those things. The CMEs that come off the sun, and then 48 hours we have significant earthquakes. It's just there's so many different things at play here that affect our weather that have been happening all at once that we have no other choice but to relate this stuff. So there you have it, guys. As of right now, February 19th to the 20th, New Zealand, you need to be ready to go. Australia, all those areas I mentioned before with the blue alert, Cape Leveque, De Grey, Broome, and Bidiganda. You guys are already experiencing this cyclone, and this is a rainmaker, so this is very comparable to Hurricane Harvey that dumped 60 inches of rain. I know 12 inches is nothing near 60, but again, this thing is still over the coast. It is still fueling itself, so we just got to wait and see what happens. But everyone in these areas, please stay safe, spread the information if you know people that live in these areas. And that's it for now, guys. I might be back with another video, or if not, I will see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a great night. Oh, and by the way, the snow is going to start in around Philadelphia, Westchester area around 5 o'clock. We're only expected to get about an inch or two, but everything north of that will get more between Sunday and Monday. So northeast of the U.S., be prepared. It's coming, and then the warm air's coming again. So there you have it, just the bipolar weather. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Take care.